how can we allow and invite our shame and guilt to not only liberate our energy, but also continue elevating our energy vibration? If this is your first time visiting my channel, I want to welcome you. My name is Wei-Jen, and I share my tips and tools, my wisdom and experience to you guys to help you elevate your energy vibration in order to attract your desired lifestyle and love. So, first and foremost, how to invite and allow our shame to and guilt to liberate our energy? Well, the first thing is you embrace that. You embrace these two things, right? If you know Brene Brown, she is this expert of vulnerability, shame, and guilt. And so I highly recommend Google her if you don't know her. She studies, shame, guilt, and vulnerability for decades. And so she has a lot of beautiful philosophy surrounded all these subjects. But here's the quote that she says. She says, if we cultivate enough awareness about shame to name it and speak to it, we're basically cut it off at the knees. What does this mean? Well, it means that first, in order to embrace our shame and guilt, right, we need to have enough awareness to pay close attention with loving kindness without any judgment to our shame and the guilt, right? And then eventually through time and the practice, the more you practice it, the more you will have the language to verbally express your shame and guilt. And the more you practice that with your language, right? Not only you will have the language for it, but you will start to find the flow, the beauty, the power of it. And that is, the power of, cultivate enough awareness to pay attention on these two things. The power of let others see these two raw, vulnerable part of us, right? The more we allow others to see these two parts of us, the more our energy is going to liberate, the more we can continue to elevate that high energy vibration, right? Because we're nurturing them by letting them out to let them be seen, being heard, let them shine, right? And I think, shame and guilt is something that many of us, most of the time, we tend to undervalue these two things. Instead, in fact, we tend to think that they are negative, and we never or we barely think of, these two things. They can be quite profound, beautiful, and powerful. And that is the value. We tend to undervalue them. If you know my background, I grew up in a dysfunctional alcoholic family. And on top of that, with my Chinese culture and also the environment I was taught, I was raised, I grew up, right? Shame and guilt is something that it's almost like a taboo. We couldn't talk about it. We weren't allowed to talk about it, to share with others, to present it to others, and to even feel those feelings. And so we become, my family, we became so good at sweeping anything that is associated with shame and guilt under the rug. So what happened in my adulthood life is that I consciously and subconsciously cultivated some of the unhealthy beliefs that doesn't work or serve me anymore, right? Because I was taught that shame and guilt, they are bad, they are taboo, they are negative, they are, they cannot be seen or heard, right? So inevitably, the more that I hide it, I cover them, right? The more I created this resistance, and then also the more unhealthy negative patterns and the voice that I cultivated inside my head that tells me that I am not good enough. I am not lovable. I am not likable. I don't deserve this or that, right? So think about those beliefs that I've been cultivated and carried with me because I thought shame and guilt, they're a bad thing. They are negative, right? They are unhealthy. People don't like to see, feel, talk, right? Talk about these things, right? Think about how that could impact me when I was in the dating world, right? I would, because of those belief systems that I had with me, I, barely had the courage to express what I was looking for and what I wanted because I didn't have that muscle. I didn't have that language to not only pay attention to my shame and guilt, but I barely had any strength to name my feelings that is associated with shame or guilt, right? And to even verbally, authentically, appropriately, share, letting other people know these were living inside with me. So the more that I was, pressing those two things, the more my energy couldn't be liberated, the more I couldn't feel free, the more I couldn't feel enlightened with my mind, my body, my spirit, my emotion. And so I think, in order to reach to that place, feeling and finding, discovering, thinking, change my perception about shame and guilt to a place where I think shame and guilt can be a very beautiful qualities that we have within us, right? It takes practice. It definitely takes tremendous awareness, patience, and gentleness to nourish these two parts of us. Because we all have shame and guilt. We all have these, when we were born. When we were a baby, all we wanted is eat, poop, and then, have some love and affection from our parents. But how to get those things, right? We didn't have the language. So the, the easiest way, the straightforward, direct way to get our parents their affection, love, and care is do something with your body, right? And then they kind of know, okay, what do you need at that moment, right? But when our parents, they also had other parts of their life, they need to take care of it, right? They put us on the side for a second, right? We literally think that what's going on? Like, why mommy, why my dad, or why my mom is not paying attention on me? There must be something wrong with me. I must, did something wrong, right? So I'm going to do, different kinds of body language to, to protect, to protest that I need that love and attention and affection from you guys, right? But you see how naturally that we already think that there's something wrong with us. Why mom and dad is not smiling to me anymore, right? Why I'm being put on the side? I want a hug, right? I want them to smile at me, right? I want them to have some reaction towards me, right? But we didn't have that language. So we already had that shame within us since we were a baby. And that's just part of the natural human being, right? But I think, the most important is that we weren't taught correctly that, how and healthily, how to view these things, these true things, as a beautiful qualities that we all have within us. So the point is that when the more we embrace those two qualities that we have within us, right, the more we feel free, the more we feel enlightened. And regardless other people, whether or not they understand and whether or not they can accept these two qualities that from us, right? It is not in our control, right? So that is something that I want to share with you guys is that, if you're seeking a way to continue to, not only liberate your energy, but also continue to elevate and maintain that high energy vibration, right? change the perspective, change the attitude, how you perceive and how you embrace shame and guilt. You know, you never know. You will be so surprised when you share these two qualities with other people. Many times people find that's really powerful, really beautiful, really profound, because there's also an element of vulnerability involves. And think about how many people, you know, they also want to do that, but many times, they lack of courage to do it. So if you can do that, right, not only you get to liberate yourself, you free yourself, but at the same time you may also inspire so many people around you. So that is something that I want to share with you guys, and I hope you find this video is helpful to you, valuable to you. If you do, please like my video and leave a comment, share with me your thought, and even subscribe my channel. I would love to hear your feedback. Until then, I wish you have a fabulous day. Namaste.